Alrighty, what is going on today, guys? Evan Aldo here. Wanted to kind of show you a cool thing that I figured out on ChatGPT in terms of analyzing your trades, and this is really good. I know a lot of people like to track their trades, track their P&L for the week, for the month, for all of that. And I wanted to kind of show you on one of my leverage trading accounts, what I was able to analyze for the past week. So basically, if you copy this, I already did it, but if you highlight all of this is on FAIRDESK, by the way. I click the weekly right there. If you highlight all of this and copy it into ChatGPT like I did over here, can you analyze this data I put in? And then it did it, and it was really cool what it came up with. So amount of trades side, it shows all the things, and 12 trades, 8 of them result in a profit, 4 trades result in a loss, which is pretty good in terms of like the amount of trades that result in a profit and amount of trades that result in a loss. All depends on risk reward ratio. Obviously, if you go to like a 3-to-1 risk reward ratio, you could win 1 out of every 3 trades and still be profitable. So it really depends, what risk reward ratio you're doing. Most of these risk reward ratios were like 1 to 1.2, 1 to 1.1 to 2, or should I say 2 to 1? The one where it's obviously less risk for higher reward. The majority of these, and ultimately gives you a lot of it says risky, don't use too high leverage and all that, and then it tells how much you made, total P&L, and then let's see, 3,400 basically on this one account. So if you want to know, like on this individual account, this FAIRDESK account, I don't have 100 grand in it, but between all my leverage trading accounts, it's about 100 grand. So basically, I'm risking 1 or 2%, sometimes even less, on the vast majority of these trades that I made. So for one individual account too. I mean, if you looked at for one individual account, not bad for the week. Obviously, okay, we got to. This was just stupidity. This was just pure greed, and this was a trade I made yesterday. It was a long trade, low risk, high reward, but I just went in too much. I probably should have put half that. I was just way too greedy. Thought I could make 10 grand if we really pumped up, and we did pump a lot. This trade was well over $1,000 in profit. I left, I went away, and then market just came back down, so it happens. But if you don't count that one, this was obviously a 5K week on this one account, so that's pretty good. It's obviously pretty good, but you got to keep in mind, guys. So I normally risk 1 or 2% of overall the money I have in all my leverage trading accounts, and I move money around. I don't keep all my eggs in one basket, because we all know, we saw what happened with FTX. There's many other examples too of exchanges that went down. So you want to move, I keep things kind of moved around. And then obviously if you're going, you could use one account for longs, one account for shorts. I didn't do that I just went both on this account, but you could kind of do something like that. There's a lot of different ways to do it. I've done it that other way in the past, but if we look here, so it's basically, the kind of rate of return based on this account. Individually, we can look at, let's see, was there anything else I wanted to look at? Oh yeah, what I was going to mention is all these trades. If you're curious, if you're interested in some trade setups, I post almost all these trades in my Discord, essentially, which is, let's see here, in my Discord. And it's a lot of, all these trades either had like a setup, a kind of a setup that I drew out, such as like this particular setup. This is a low risk, high reward setup, little freebie right here. Or a lot of these I give the actual kind of setup here. So this was the one yesterday, the long entry. This is the one that got stopped out, went way in profit, then got stopped out. So that was the other one that did well from the other day. But I also do post all the kind of setups. This was the setup on Ethereum that worked really well last night. I did take this trade last night. I do post like, it's a little bit more conference with the entries tab right here, but sometimes I debate whether just taking this out and just posting the setups, because I don't want people to just blindly kind of follow trades. But then again, people really want this, so it's kind of like it's tough. I mean, let me know, leave a comment down below if you have any ideas here. So yeah, that's ultimately what I think about it. But we provide a lot of good stuff here. Crypto Bullzone, Landicore, and KMAC as well. So there's other analysis. So just a lot of really good trade setups. I mean, I can't promise you, obviously there's no promises in life that you're going to be, be able to, do really well on these trade subs. You got to kind of get educated, learn it yourself. I mean, it takes the average person years before they could become a profitable trader. It does generally take a while. Some people got really lucky in 2020 and 2021. Market just went straight up, and then a lot of that ignorance, a lot of that those lucky wins, went right back. Went right back to the hedge funds or right back to the whales when they, kept going into 2022 or even a lot of this year. So that's ultimately what we gotta kind of realize here. But if you guys are interested in the Discord, the link is down below. And if you're curious about what exchanges, why FAIRDESK I use, because they're pretty good, no VPN, no KYC. Fees are a little bit high, you can't win them all. That's one of the main ones I've been using lately. MEXC is another good option, because if you look at all of these fees that I paid, it's a lot. I mean, I paid a lot to open and close. This loss right here, I paid over $300, kind of worth of fees, I believe, or it was at the total 200 right there. Even a funding fee right there. So yeah, you are paying a lot of fees. So MEXC, there's zero limit fees. There are still market fees, but they are low. That's another decent exchange to use. They all have their pros and cons. Those are two main I use right now, MEXC and FAIRDESK. Links down below if you guys are interested. We give away $100, only with my link, $100 bonus every week if you deposit any amount, and do one futures trade. So you could get that. And the MEXC one is just zero limit fees. There's also a trading competition going on with FAIRDESK still, I believe. So if you guys are interested, check it out if you know what you're doing. And then risk management's obviously, like I mentioned, 1 or 2% typically is what I do. I mean, I've seen some people go higher and have success with it. Everybody's kind of got their own ways to kind of do things a bit. So that's ultimately what you got to realize there. But I wanted to kind of post this to show you one of the accounts, just to be like really transparent on, generally what I look at, what I've been doing lately, to kind of give you an idea of, what some realistic goals could be, with the data that we kind of have. And basically, ChatGPT is really good for that. What I want to look at now is, let's just go through just a little bit of basic TA. I mean, ultimately, kind of the thing that I've been looking at here, we do have a reverse head and shoulders on Bitcoin. 30-minute money flows look pretty good. You potentially, if I had to guess, I would say you could come up a bit higher here, 34.7. And if we draw our, kind of fixed range volume profile, I'd say it's a little bit risky just because it's a weekend. But if you put a stop below here and then a first take profit up here, that could be a pretty good trade. That's the kind of the setup that I gave out in the Discord that I showed you guys earlier. I'm giving you guys kind of the free information. Well, it is weekend stuff, so it is. I definitely always do smaller positions on the weekend unless I'm feeling greedy, and then it never usually doesn't play out too well. And so that's ultimately what Bitcoin looks like right now. I mean, this formation of the way this price is moving is not bad at all by any means. Money flow kind of people are coming up here. I mean, it would make sense to come up higher. We'll see what happens. We'll absolutely have to see what happens, but I mean, we'll crossover into the green on the 2-day, and then the 3-day, kind of the same thing, and then the weekly. I mean, no major signs of coming down. I know Crypto Bullzone was talking about the bear div that could potentially form on the weekly relatively soon, and I agree. Yeah, I think, I mean, if we come up to 37 or whatever, that could be a big, drop downward from there, because we all know that, typically, unless we go parabolic here, which, I mean, anything can happen, but let's see. Yeah, I mean, that money flow coming up, that would be the parabolic thing there. I feel like it's going to be different this time. I'd be surprised if we just go parabolic like crazy, but it'd be wild. It'd be wild, especially if the Fed pauses for a while, and or maybe they're forced to pivot if the S&P 500 keeps going down. So it's an interesting thing to think about here. If we look at Ethereum, a lot of the same. I've been talking about this range, around the 1900 area that we could potentially pump up to. You are seeing like a little bit of bearish things blow down into the 3 hour. It's just the 3 hour though. It's not that crazy of a thing. Keep in mind though, ETH does keep bleeding against Bitcoin. So if you're gonna be going long, I'd probably rather go long in Bitcoin. Same reverse head and shoulders. If you break upward, potentially a higher area, and we could draw basically the same fixed range volume profile on Oh, shoot. On Ethereum here, fixed range volume profile. On Ethereum here, so yeah, this area, to be safe, I'd probably be looking to take profits at 814. I am in, and this was the same, I believe I'm still, oh yeah, I could actually show you guys it. I'm still in the same, smaller Ethereum long from yesterday. As you can see right here, this was traded on FAIRDESK. So I'm just gonna let this ride for now. We'll see what happens. So yeah, but ultimately a jump up to there does seem pretty likely. And then, I mean, I was looking at, this is a chart some people were talking about, total 2 minus Tether versus Bitcoin. I think you could come down a bit further. Bitcoin can keep outperforming these altcoins for a bit longer. So, I mean, once we get to this point, that would be one of the main places where I would be looking to convert some Bitcoin finally convert some Bitcoin into altcoins. And the same thing in terms of Bitcoin dominance, we're at 54. A little bit more, I think you get at least up to 56. Hopefully we get up to 59 here. And then once we get potentially the next monthly red dot is kind of a no-brainer on altcoin accumulation here. That's usually, I mean, that was, let's see, November 19. I mean, obviously you did have pandemic after it and other stuff going on, but in the grand scheme of things, holding altcoins for like a year and a half after that, you would have been pretty good. You would have been pretty good, and I'm willing to kind of bet the same thing will probably happen once you confirm the next red dot in the monthly there on Bitcoin dominance, and then kind of waiting to come up a little bit higher on the 2 week here. Next bear div on the 2 week, I think will probably give us what we need in terms of altcoins to start finally bottoming out and outperforming Bitcoin. The ones that survive, not the ones that go to zero. And the other thing that was interesting, do whatever. This is no type of advice, but AMP was looking kind of good on the on the weekly here in the Coinbase chart. Forget what I was drawing there. This thing essentially went to zero, but it could have a jump up here. Could potentially have a jump up here. Maybe you get a little bit of an altcoin season here. I have no idea. I have no idea. Trend reversal, maybe it'll bring us up higher. Maybe you could get up to, I don't know, back up to 2 cents or something here potentially, or 2/10 of a cent, 3/10 of a cent, something like that. It does look pretty good on most time frames. It does look pretty good on most time frames. So you do have the bear div in the 16 hours, so be careful, but maybe this could come up higher. And then, the other thing that's been pumping up a bit lately, silver versus head and shoulders, so the gold and silver have been looking good. I think this could bring us back up to the high 24s potentially. So it's a very interesting time, because if you look at, the S&P 500 as well here, this is obviously dumping while crypto, gold and silver, Bitcoin, gold and silver have been, pumping, which is kind of like those doomsday people are kind of getting it right. So I think, if we draw I don't do too much in-depth analysis on this, but if we draw a, fib level here, this is a big point, 403. I think we're going to be back kind of in that area, probably by the end of the year for the S&P 500, maybe even sooner. We're already almost into November here. And then the other thing that's important to kind of keep an eye on, 30-year treasuries. I think these are getting towards the top, but we'll have to see. Treasury yield, for 5.5 is kind of what I'm targeting as potentially the top. Bear div on the monthly, I think, is going to bring you back down. And the kind of inverse of this, the TLT, which a lot of people have been talking about, monthly bull div, I think that's going to bring you up. I think we could be there. I mean, there's signs that would tell us we're potentially bottoming out here. Looking good on the daily. So yeah, we could be there. And then the last but not least, I wanted to show you guys the Dixie right here, and coming up with the VWAP on the Dixie, double bottom thing, trigger wave. I think you could keep coming up in the Dixie, which probably will at least bring the S&P 500 down more. And then we got to see, does Bitcoin keep going into 37K or whatever? Does it keep going? That's a good question. We'll see. But like they say, the trend is your friend. So for the reasons I specified, I think I'm still bullish right now. I'll let you guys know if that potentially changes. All right, guys, hope you have a great day. Check out the links down below. Check out the Discord down below as well. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Let me know if you enjoy more of these type of videos with the P&L analysis as well.